was the longest one ever. My bad. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. Oh, man, we're happy to be here. We're excited. It is Friday, right? Friday.
It is.
Dude, this is the holiday weekend right now.
Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Christmas is here again. What the beep?
Dude, this has been literally, I was just talking about this on the Crewcast on Monday, which, by the way, we do a podcast on Mondays. Do you guys know that? It's called the VR Crewcast. It is hosted by Gamertag VR, who everyone knows and loves, and it features some of the best and brightest names from the VR space, just aka like our small group of homies who all love each other dearly. But we have a lot of fun on that show, and on that show, I recently was talking about my year and just how absolutely insane this year has been for me. Like, I traveled so many times, like had a career change, had all kinds of stuff happen, and I have absolutely loved 2022. This has been a fantastic year for me. So I'm beside myself, man. I can't believe that a whole year has gone by already.
Bananas. 2022 has been nuts.
Yeah.
It's been nuts.
Yeah.
It's been like a, relatively slow year for VR, right? But for us, not even close. So.
Dude, right off the bat, Bobby Carlton, like, what's up, dude? First of all, like,
Wow.
You're the man. We think you're the best dude ever, and I'm pretty sure this is an air horn.
Oh, that is not an air horn. It was not an air horn. That's the air horn right there.
Dude, Bobby Carlton dropping $50 in the super chat right off the bat before we even start the show. Bro, thank you so much, man. That's super generous, and we are very lucky to have you in the VR space with us. And dude, Wrestle VR also, pow, with a $5 super chat. Skiva, I love you, but still disagree with you. Oh, you and Wrestle get into it a little bit?
Oh, I guess not. I didn't think we did. I love Bobo. He loves Kiwi, and I was saying that Bobo is the best.
Yeah, come on,
Wrestle. But I love Kiwi too, so it's all good,
Yeah, fair
it's
enough.
Absolutely.
I love Kiwi also.
You can't make a bad choice between Kiwi and Bobo.
Straight up.
Yeah.
That's very true. If you want a hot swappable battery, go with Bobo.
Oh, of course.
So I'm going to give it to Bobo also, but we love Kiwi. And we're not being paid to say that.
Correct.
Well, it's great to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have a great show today. Shout out to our chat who is showing up just like in droves and just bringing the support like none other right now. It's a little crazy. Mike Newton says, it's Christmas weekend. XRSC represent. What's up, bro?
Boom.
Thank you for being here and being number one, bringing in the weekend for us every week. You're the man. Ryan Brannon's here. Oh, a little Roy boy in the house. Virtual Steve also bringing in that holiday weekend energy. Love to see it.
What's up, guys?
Michelle B, Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Oh, a little Daniel Kaz, Merry Christmas to you as well, my good sir. Wrestle, of course, brother. Thank you for coming in with the super chat. Projectivity, greetings, everyone. What's up, Projectivity? Yes.
Hello.
Let's see. Bluebell, Merry Christmas,
Bluebell.
Hanukkah, Happy Healthy New Year. Is that also Bluebell with a super chat, dude?
Dang.
$9.99. Merry Christmas, Happy Healthy New Year, Alex, Skiva, and this wonderful VR family.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Santa is coming early, and it's pretty awesome.
For real.
Gotta say.
And every single one of you that's in the chat right now that was a part of last night's live stream over on Q2C and helped me out, thank you so much. I freaking love you guys. I love all of you guys no matter what. Like,
tell the story before I go any further, bro.
So I was hopping on a meeting and I had this big cup of coffee and I just, without thinking about it, I just put it down on my desk, and then I went to like unmute my mic and I smacked the coffee and it poured down my desk into my Valve Index, out of the Index into my computer, fried both things, and it was a bummer, and I was super duper sad about it. And then Mash was like, "What the heck?" And we were doing a live stream that night anyway to talk about Neos, and so we gave away a bunch of prizes and raised money for me to get a new Index. And then Mickey Burr flies in and he's like, "Yo, I'm sending you an Index. What's your address?" Like, what? Like, this community is insanely amazing. Everyone donated money, like helped me get like a new headset and fix my computer, and it was unbelievable.
Bro.
I love this VR community.
It's
so
the
much.
best. It is the best.
It was
man.
such a dumb mistake I made.
That is super dumb.
And it cost me almost cost me a whole bunch of money, but instead it cost all of you a whole bunch of
Oh my God.
I love you guys though.
Well, I gotta say, like truth be told, or full disclosure is really it. My heart sank when I saw that this happened, because I was actually late to that live stream. I didn't see it go down. And then I go back and you're telling a story about how your computer got fried, and I'm like, dude, no way. Like with a 4090 and all of that.
3090. Yeah, but it was my secondary machine. It was my backup machine, the recording machine we used to do video production, stuff like that. So it wouldn't have necessarily affected my ability to play PCVR, right?
That's nice.
Yes,
at least it's that.
But yeah, it was a production machine, which is still a bummer, but it wasn't the end of the world. But everyone stepped up and they freaking hit a home run and they helped me out.
That's so rad, dude. Yeah. We have the best community ever.
We really do.
And, all of you here right now listening to this live are a part of that. Or all afterwards, by the way, on your favorite podcast platform, audio or visual, or on Upload VR, who we are proud to be correspondents with. Thank you, Upload VR. We love you dearly. Tigga lovers in the house, and heyo, what's up? Good to see you, Tigga. Duggars K is chilling, right? Little Duggars K action. Wolf Raza, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. Moonshine Games is in the house.
Hey.
Oh, Chroma Snare. Chroma Snare does a lot of art on Twitch, by the way. If you guys don't follow Chroma Snare on Twitch, do that.
Cool, nice.
They do some great stuff.
It's also Neos, homie.
Yes. Oh, that is, Neos is so good. We should probably share a little bit of that also. Let's see here. Catching up a little bit. Dude, Wrestle VR, man. Feeling generous today. Merry Christmas Between Realities. $100.
$100. What? Wrestle. What the heck, dude?
Like,
right on,
is
brother.
there like applause? Like,
no, none of those.
I don't. I'm so bad with this thing, man. Wrestle, thank you, bro. Like, that is ridiculously generous.
Thank you.
And it will go a long way for us. We'll do something cool with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Let's see. Laszlo216, thanks for coming, man. Good to see you. Andy's VR reviews, what's up? Got here a little late. You're right on time. We're off to a little bit of a slow start on this episode because Skiva's story. I had to hear that. B, we have amazing super chats coming in right now. So thank you guys so much for your generosity. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
And then lastly, I was just talking about this year being such a big year for me. And a huge reason is because I accepted a position as strategic partnership manager for Contact CI. And Contact CI, you might be asking yourself, who is Contact CI? What is that? And when I went to Cincinnati, where the headquarters is, brought a camera and a microphone, and I filmed a bunch of stuff, and I talked to every single person on the team, and I put together a video that is a Who is Contact CI video. And I just finished it, and I am about to push it out on all of the social media platforms immediately after this show, actually. But I thought it might be fun before that to give my Between Realities fam like the world premiere look at it, because I love you guys all dearly, and I would love for you all to know a little bit more about what has been really taking up so much of my time and energy lately. When I'm at CES this year, I'm going to be running this Contact CI booth, and I've been super jammed, like trying to get it all put together and get ready for it. So if you guys are okay with it, and with Skiva's permission, I would like to show this video to you guys as like the Between Realities world premiere of Who is Contact CI. And
we can do that, and you're going to be a little upset because I'm about to derail you here a second, because I realize that our full screen scene includes our guests, so I don't want to pre-introduce them by putting them up on there. So we might want to bring them in and share the video with them on.
I would like to do that.
All right.
That makes sense. So our guests today, they are breaking ground in immersive theater using virtual reality. We have often talked about our experiences in the meta movie on this show, and we had Jason from the meta movie on the show as a guest before. So how much Skiva and I love this immersive media and this immersive storytelling as an entertainment source. And the Ferryman Collective, who are here joining us today, are doing this exact same thing, but they're doing it in VRChat, which is Quest accessible, of course, as we all know, and kind of opening things up to a wider audience. So joining us today from the Ferryman Collective is Steve, Deirdre, and Christopher, and here they are.
Hold on. Boom, there they are.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us.
How you guys doing? What's up, everyone?
Hi, happy holidays and all that good stuff. Hello.
Hello. The Ferryman Collective are a group of actors and producers who are putting their heart and souls into making amazing stories for us to experience. And actually, Steve and I just did one, 2 nights ago?
2 nights ago, and then we did another one from the Ferryman Collective just a couple weeks prior to that.
Yes, and so we're going to dive into that. But, and we're really happy to have you guys on.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man, I'm so thrilled to finally be able to do this, you guys.
Yeah, because we met in person, like, where Expo was that?
Los Angeles Comic-Con at the party thrown by Thrillseeker.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
That was last year, right around this time, like maybe a week prior, but last year.
Wow. Well, hey guys, great to see you. Before we dive into the Ferryman Collective, are you guys okay with me rolling this video for you?
Would you please? Yes. Congratulations too.
Thank you. Thank you. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. You know, I have a very hands-on role at this company, and it feels really cool to like be making like meaningful contributions on the daily. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely has been the goal for me, is to like get in somewhere where I can really make a difference, and that's happening now. So I'm really stoked about it.
Cool. Well, we'll roll it. Our guests are on a little bit of a delay watching the YouTube feed, so just know that. But yeah, we're gonna check this out.
Awesome. Cool.
See how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to share this.
All right, here we go.
Here at Contact CI, we make a multi-force ergonomic glove used for haptic interaction with hand tracking applications.
We innovate on VR haptic feedback systems. There's lots of players in the market, but I think we have an edge, and we're working on some cutting-edge stuff.
Contact CI creates virtual reality interfaces that are focused on being multi-force and ergonomic in their approach, so that we can truly extend your hand's sense of touch and functionally now reach into that VR, AR world.
We take what we learn about interaction in virtual reality, especially through touch, and instead of just, sending out the research, we act upon it and create our own hardware to simulate touch and create a better, actually on-hands experience within virtual reality.
We bring hands into VR.
We are creating a product that will make a huge difference in the way people experience learning through VR and AR, and expanding their sense of touch is becoming a huge influential part of this side of new emerging technology.
Right now, I think we're limited to controllers that we have to hold in our hands, and our hands are the most intuitive, natural tool that we have. So what Contact CI does is enables people to use their range of motion as naturally as possible by bringing physical hands to be the controllers inside of VR.
The excitement around VR and haptics seems to grow every year. When we bring people in for demos and people try this headset on, the reactions we get just give you more and more reason to want to come in and make this product as best as possible, because you know that when people put it on, it's going to be, badass experience. And that's what we do.
I definitely think being able to actually use your hands and interact with other people is more in line with how people actually interact with each other in real life. I definitely think we're getting somewhere.
We do a lot with enterprise and government training, and so in that they are training for environments that are either expensive or dangerous to train in the real world for. So in using our devices, they can pretty much press replay and run through so many scenarios and be much better prepared for that active scenario, and hopefully safer for themselves and those around them.
We take VR that extra step. The whole notion of virtual reality is building the baseline of building other realities. Sense of touch is hugely important there. It's how we interact and experience things around us in everyday life. And if you're trying to build a virtual reality, you can't not have touch. It's crucial to virtual reality to be what people envision it being, especially in that lofty, futuristic way of thinking about it. Touch has to be there, and getting it right and getting it intuitive and accessible and ergonomic is hugely important.
I think we've accomplished a lot so far, since starting as undergrads at Syracuse University to being able to reach major milestones like delivering simulation trainings for things like the U.S. Air Force or Cincinnati Children's Hospital, or being able to make an impact just in our community here in Cincinnati. But we've got a long way to go, and I think we'll continue to be doing a lot more exciting stuff. It's early days yet, but that doesn't mean we can't be excited and proud about what we're doing.
this company does really stand for values that are built for longevity, and I think that we're going to stick around for a very long time, and a lot of really good people are going to relate to what we do and to who we are as a company, and that, I think, long term, it's something that I will always be proud of.
Haptics is going to be the future of VR. At some point, we'll get the technology to a place where it really feels seamless in a VR space. And the work we're doing now is going to be foundational for that in the future.
We are entering a whole new era of what it means to have an experience. And as this technology continues to improve, form factor drops lower and lower, fidelity of the experiences goes higher and higher, I imagine a time where it will be difficult to discern the differences between a typical sensory perception, normal reality experience, and an emulated or recreated virtual reality or augmented reality experience. And when those days come, I think it's going to revolutionize what it means to have a life. I think it's going to revolutionize what it means to be human, and there's nothing more exciting than that. Boom. Feel the unreal, people.
Wow. That was cool, dude.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I can't wait till we get to use those.
I know. As actors,
it's gonna up our game.
Expressive hands is something that we totally want. Totally want.
Yeah, hand tracking is definitely an important aspect, but anybody who's used it knows that you're sacrificing haptics to use it right now. So I'm really excited to be a part of a team that is looking to solve this. And, right now we're very much enterprise focused, because that's frankly where the customers are, for expensive devices like these. But it is a very exciting time to be a part of like the growth and evolution of this technology. And like I said earlier, to have a meaningful role in that means the world to me. So thank you guys for watching the premiere of this video that I've been working on for a while.
Awesome. Great work.
Yeah.
Really exciting stuff, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Now hopefully
whoever cut that together was very talented.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's good. I actually tried to get Short Stack to do it. Well, he was down, but then my boss was like, "No, you edit it." I'm like, "Okay, fine." Yeah, but it's like like when I first got on, I'll be honest, I was not exactly entirely familiar with Contact CI. So I felt like something like this would be really great to share with my community at the very least, so that way everyone kind of gets an idea about what we're working on over there and what we're trying to accomplish.
Heck yeah, man! Very cool. I very much look forward to the day that like I can grab an object and like feel it and feel its texture and like all of those things. It's such an important part of selling an experience. So
it is.
So I'm stoked, man. Continue the good work.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Getting things done is in the house. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up?
Good to see you. Braden Roy is hanging out with us as well.
What's up?
VR with Jasmine has slid in here.
What's up?
The founding members of Ferryman Collective, Braden Roy.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
what's up, man? Good job.
Whenever needed.
Yeah, we may call upon him.
Yeah.
Beardo
Nice.
Benjo is chilling in the chat right now. What's up, man? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Beardo? How are you?
Man, I was half expecting to see you on the VR Crewcast on Monday, man. What's going on with that? I miss you.
Yeah, we miss you, man.
We miss you, dude.
We miss you.
So,
yes,
that's enough of that stuff.
That's enough.
All right. I want to talk about immersive theater. I want to talk about the Ferryman. Wait, is that what we're going to do now?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good. I want to talk about some of this stuff. So, maybe. Where do we start with this? Do we learn about the origins of it? Let's go high level. Okay. Maybe Steve can take a minute to explain to us what exactly you guys are doing and what exactly the Ferryman Collective is all about.
Well, I can certainly do that. I think that Deirdre would be better suited to start that.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
Deirdre, bring it.
Kind of started with her and Braden and Brian Tull, also one of the founding members of Ferryman Collective, who is, I don't see him on the chat, but he's around. But Deirdre can speak.
All started with the Under Presents. I was doing immersive theater in Los Angeles, just like in real life, and I saw a bunch of my friends were doing this thing, and I was like, well, what is this thing they're doing? And I looked on the website, I still didn't know what this thing was. And then I emailed the person who happened to be, the company that happened to be doing the Under Presents, blindly saying, hey, I see a bunch of my friends there. If you need more actors, please let me know. And they emailed back and said, yeah, actually we do. And then this is 2019, right before the pandemic, November, right before the pandemic happened. Then the pandemic happened and all the theaters closed down, all the live experiences closed down. And so the Underpresents didn't, because it was in virtual reality. And then they added The Tempest, which was amazing. And that kept growing. And eventually some friends of mine, Brian and Braden, were like working on the thing. Brian's like, I hate that Halloween's canceled this year. So we started doing like a proof of concept Halloween kind of show, and that was 20 minutes. And then that rolled right into Krampusnacht, which was the next month. And then we're like, hey, let's just submit for the Producers Guild of America Innovation Award, because we'll never win it, but maybe we'll get our name in there and they'll like be okay. And for next year or something. And then we got nominated and we're like, okay, we're on the right track. Yeah. So then I wanted to explore like intimacy in VR. So I had a friend who was doing in real life in the last summer a show I thought would be great for VR, but not something anybody had explored. And so we did Welcome to Respite, which then ended up going around the world, going to these major festivals, winning amazing awards. It even went to Korea, and there's a Korean version of it. We're just like, whoa! And before our head stopped spinning, I had this idea to do something in a world that was already built called Gumball Dreams. And that was the world that was built was Club Gumball and Gumball Lounge. Wow. Yes, yeah. The worlds that were built. And then we made Gumball Dreams, which was the story is based on the worlds that already existed. And Color and I basically worked together to make that into a theater piece as opposed to a puzzle world.
Whoa, that's interesting. So you just entered this world and you looked around and you were like, oh yeah, like I can work with this, and then made a story that revolved around what you experienced when you went into the world for the first time.
I wanted to write something that embodied the feelings that I got when I was in this world full of wonder and awe. And I wanted to make it really good so that when I first showed it to Color, that he would get it and understand it and like it. And so I'm reading it to him, and I'm like holding my breath, and I read it through, and all of a sudden I get to the end and there's just silence, and I'm like, oh, I hope he liked it. And then he wipes his tear from his eyes and he says, yeah.
That's amazing.
I got to share the story how we came to work with Christopher, aka Screaming Color, is how the world knows him and his music and his art. We started work on Welcome to Respite as an experiment, bringing it into VR because it existed as an IRL immersive play that Deirdre did some voiceover work on. And it resonated with her, and we talked to Lindsay Sherman, who's the original writer, co-creator of the piece, and the rest of the team, and we all agreed that it would be worthy of experimenting with. And Brian had, at that point, we started working on it, and Brian Tull had, he had built most of the world, and or at least had it laid in, and we had met Christopher at like an XR meetup, I think it was.
Community.
Yeah, community meetup. And we explained what was going on. He said, well, I'm not doing a lot right now. And so we took him in and showed him the world and showed him what we were doing. And then the next morning, he pings us, DMs us on Discord and says, hey, look what I did. I got inspired. And we went into the world, and he created overnight these animations that just blew our mind.
It was like, oh, I think this would be really cool if we had a house pop out of a book, and we're like, that sounds really cool, but I mean, that's a lot. So
it was Braden that had the idea, but then it was me that was like, yeah, let's make it happen. And you guys were like, well, let's not be too ambitious. So,
Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, pings us in the morning, and he's like, I did it. We're like, what? You're kidding me. And then we all got into VR, and there's this book, and he's like, go up and touch it. So we're like, okay. And so we go up and we trigger it. All of a sudden it flies back and it goes up into the ceiling and it opens up, and down comes this house, and there's all these sounds, and you get to the final end, and there's the 5 steps at the end. Go boom, 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 boom. Poof.
And you're like, all right, we're on to something here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that was.
They bring out the best in me.
I mean, I don't think everyone always has a good understanding of the kind of stuff you can actually pull off in VRChat. Like those kinds of animations and like those kind of scene transitions and stuff like that. Like that really caught me off guard when I first went to a couple of you guys' shows.
Yeah, I mean, these guys that Deirdre and I have managed to meet over the last 2 years and work with. They deal in black magics that we had no idea existed, and Christopher was able to create these animations and sort of seamlessly paste scenes together to where you can't really see the seams, and it's just really quite magical. All the elements come together, and we're very grateful for that.
That's
so cool.
That is awesome.
I do want to say we do notice the video freezing to our audience here. We're sorry about that. We're having some weird Discord issue that's happening, and
yeah. What do you think? Do you want to plow through it? Do you want to like take a minute?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think because here I'm just kind of messing with it, and it keeps messing with the video on the screen, but.
Effect on technology, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. It's
yeah. Thanks a lot, Steve.
It's a weird one.
I spilled my scotch, so I'm gonna put this cat down and I'm gonna go clean the scotch.
Oh, that's a bummer. as long as it didn't fill your index, I think you'll be okay.
Oh, jeez. I know. Maybe this is
Skiva. Oh, God. Yeah, ended well.
It ended really well. Yeah. So,
it did.
yes.
It did. But yeah, so just so our audience knows, we are aware of the video issue happening here, but there's no audio issues, so that's good.
Yeah. So you're cool. You want to just
yeah, absolutely. I think so. I don't think it's a game changer, and it as long as yeah. We're
okay.
good.
We're gonna push through it. Very good. So what's like? Do you guys have titles at Ferryman Collective? Like, is it like a full-on company and like you have titles to it, or like how do you like identify yourselves as like what you do?
We wear hats and then we have sub hats. It's kind of like Dr. Seuss, where you take one and there's a smaller one and a smaller one.
It's like we're like nesting dolls. Yeah, we're so ragtag. We're just a bunch of urchins trying to pull this stuff off. With no budget, no money. Deirdre and I are performers. We come to it from a performing and producing background. And Braden, he's kind of our MacGyver. He knows a little bit about everything. He wrote the first two scripts for Para and Krampusnacht. So he writes, he knows, he's learning coding. He knows a little bit about Blender, game design, puzzle design, all that kind of stuff. Christopher, avatars. Christopher he is a music composer and a writer, and he does everything that you see as well. So
as far as the team goes, I call myself the special effects and animations designer.
Nice.
And then the composer.
Nice.
My whole deal.
Yeah, these are like, just to like reiterate a little bit, like when you go into this experience, you are interacting with Steve and Deirdre and maybe whoever else they have as an actor in a given experience. You are interacting with them as they are in character in real time. Like it's not like a pre-recorded Avatar movie. And sometimes you see that, and they do have like voices that I'm sure are pre-recorded that kind of play during different scenes and stuff. But 95% of this, you are like literally interacting with them as they exist in character in this story. And maybe we can start with Gumball Dreams before we talk about Welcome to Respite, because that's the one that we did previously. So to me, that's like the first, and now Welcome to Respite has kind of been the second one. And there's definitely a common thread between these stories. And for me, it's the emotional, emotional what? Like it's like the emotional nature of the storytelling that you're doing here.
Yeah.
Like this is not the kind of experience where you come in and it's just like, just like all fluff and like that's that. Like you go in there and like they are trying to and succeeding in making you feel something. So do you guys want to speak a little bit to your approach in terms of like the emotional nature of the stories that you're telling?
I think it's one of those things that people often don't pay as much attention to in VR, and because the spectacle is so amazing. but we like to ground our stories in a foundation of the heart, and then add the spectacle on top of that. And so when you get the marriage of those two, it's quite a journey that we end up taking you on.
I would say so. You know, I kind of went into both of these with zero expectations. I don't know if you knew what you were getting yourself into.
No, not really. I mean, you know, the experience I had before was really with the Meta movie and Alien Rescue. So I kind of sort of knew what I was getting into as far as going into a world with real life actors and everything. But I was absolutely taken back by this, particularly this story and everything about it and its message. I got a little emotional, not gonna lie. There may have been some tears under that headset. It was absolutely beautiful and visually stunning. The acting was fantastic, and everything about it was just a home run.
Yeah, it was really good. It's obviously a gorgeous world, and you know, I think there was one primary actress in Gumball Dreams that we were interacting with, and there was three of us. It was Skeeve and I and Betty too, right? It was the three of us, Skeeve and I and Betty, and we all kind of had our own private time with the actress, while the other two went off to solve a quest. And I don't even know what you guys talked about in your conversation, you know, but she's very much like an elder, you know, almost like a shamanistic figure, and sharing wisdom and helping you kind of peel away layers. And, you know, I eventually settled into who I was in that experience a little bit. And you know, I had a little bit of an exchange with her that definitely pulls on something real, you know. But like I said, I didn't really have any expectations going into it. And I am curious, have you had people come in and just be completely blindsided by the emotional heaviness that they might experience when they come in?
Totally.
There was one time last year where we were showing Welcome to Respite to a few investors, you know, men in their 30s. And one of them dropped out halfway through the show because he's like, I didn't sign up for that this morning. He's like, I respect your art. In fact, it was incredible, but I just couldn't emotionally. It's just a Tuesday morning right now. He wasn't ready to open that bag that morning, so he just totally dipped. Understandably, you know, no offense taken. So.
Wow, that's interesting that you can make someone so emotional during a VR experience that they're like, wow, I don't know that I'm ready to feel like this today.
we discovered this back, well, actually Deirdre discovered this when she was working on the Under Presents and the Tempest, but we made connections like that with Welcome to Respite, but specifically since we're talking about Gumball Dreams, we were fortunate enough to have the show represented at Venice again this year. Our team to be represented again, and since we're all pretending like there's no pandemic anymore, everybody's getting back together in real life, and Venice provided the headsets. And it's three for this particular show. It's one actor plays a couple of different parts, and then three audience members, like you were talking about, Alex. And in Venice on the little island, they built out the whole thing for us. So we had specific booths, rooms with doors and everything for the individual audience members, because for privacy and because it can be for intimacy and things like that. And we were getting ready for this for more shows. Now when we're there, we generally don't perform. We're there sort of as a stage management and try to make the thing go properly. And so the audience members were coming and we're getting them set up, getting them in the headsets. And there was this one young woman that had, I detected an accent that she was speaking with. I didn't know what it was, but they went on, they got them in the headset, they started the show. And for this particular show, one of our actors, her name is Kelly Jones, was performing. And so what happens during those shows is we kind of stand in the back and we have one earpiece in and we're on the Discord listening to the actor. We can communicate with the actor. And then in this particular case, we can see what the audience members are doing, and each one at Venice had a huge big screen TV as a monitor, so we could see from their point of view what was happening. And so we can hear things, we can see things, and we learn a lot. But at the end of the show, we helped the audience members out of the headsets and all that kind of thing. And I walked into this room, this young woman, where she was doing the show, and she was sitting in the chair in the corner, and she was just bawling, just crying, tears coming down her face. And I had a feeling I knew what it had to deal with, because back on during her one-on-one with Onyx, the character that you spend time with, I heard Kelly as Onyx say, "Where are you from?" And I heard this young lady say, "Russia." And I was like, oh boy, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And Kelly, you know, she's a pro and she's really good. And she was like, oh, wow, it's a beautiful, large country, blah, blah, blah. And they went on, and I didn't hear what they said to each other. But at the end of the show, this woman was crying. And so Christopher was there, and I said, hey, come here, come here. So we were talking to her, and she said, I'm sorry, I don't normally do this, but she said, I want to do this kind of work and what you guys do. And she said, I live in Moscow, and there's so much going on there now that those of us that have headsets, it's our only escape is VR. And it was such a profound shift in how she connected with the work, because I don't think anybody's really quite ready for what they're about to experience, because it's unique stuff. But it can have profound effects on people beyond what we had even expected. So we're you know.
But that being said, I mean, we do make sure that our actors are amazing and they're very intuitive, though. So if someone really doesn't want to go in a certain direction, or you know, through the tones and the cues and the how people respond, they can always go into like a monologue about Onyx's past or what have you. So they're always very good and attuned to trying to make sure that where they're going is a welcome and a loving place.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, in being a live show, if this was a pre-scripted game with NPCs and characters, it is what it is. But since there's real people behind these characters, things can change and improvise, and so that's awesome.
Well,
that's
and
fantastic.
the people who are doing it are not actors. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're like kind of being an actor. They're like asked to embody a certain persona or character. But at the end of the day, like I ended up going somewhere naturally with my interactions. You know what I mean? Like in Gumball Dreams, I was had a more passive role for Welcome to Respite, which we'll shift into in a minute. Yep. But like my interactions I like pull from a natural place. You know what I mean? So like those people aren't acting, like they are engaging in a way that is a lot closer to real than someone who has like a script. You know what I mean? So you're providing people this opportunity to connect with a story in a way that is like deeper and definitely more meaningful. And being the emotional nature of it, like I kind of go back and forth in my head a little bit, because I can see why someone might drop out halfway through. They're like, okay, wait a second, no, like I did not sign up to kind of go into all these feelings and like kind of get this like heaviness put on me today. But movies do it all the time.
I know, isn't that wild? Right?
Yeah, like movies don't ask your permission to give you an emotional reaction to something. Like I've never seen the movie Click, but I know the movie Click does this to you. Like it's with Adam Sandler, and he's got like a magical remote control, and anybody who's seen that movie tells me that they're like fighting tears by the end of it. And it's like, wait a second, like that's just Adam Sandler, like what are you talking about?
Well, it's funny how movies and theater can bring out emotions, but when you are embodying the character in a story in a virtual reality, it's just like it's so much more heavy, right? And you connect with that character so much more, and it really does make you feel even more.
Yeah, Pat, really did you guys have to like have like a dialogue about that? Like, okay, like should we give it like more? I mean, because you do give a disclaimer at the beginning of the experience, like, hey, by the way, this might be a little heavy, it might get a little scary, so if it does, just let us know, that kind of thing. But I imagine you must have like had a little bit of a back and forth, being like, okay, like, is it cool that we pull people through these experiences? Like, how much of a warning do we give? What did that conversation look like?
Well, for the actors, we chose the actors for their skills and the abilities, as far as like, you know, who we decided to bring on as, you know, a person to play Onyx, who is also intersex and can be played by a man or a woman, it's gender neutral and all of that stuff. And then Color was going to say.
Oh, a couple things. Well, I just wanted to touch on Ari in the comments said it sounds like it can be therapeutic, which is actually one of my favorite words in regards to that. And I think that both shows are very what I would call therapeutic, but in different ways. Like the Gumball Dreams is this sort of like literal therapy to some degree. Like the conversation with does feel like this 10-minute like therapy is too cold, but you know this intentionally. What will bring these leading questions that uplift, like what else is the purpose of therapy? And so, but Welcome to Respite, on the other hand, is very therapeutic in the way that Shrooms is, where it's like, this is not gonna happen, and then spits you out on the other side with this like greater understanding. But in one of the wholesome ways that Welcome to Respite is therapeutic is there's this, you know, monologue between Alex, the character that the audience member plays, and the father. And I'll just say that it's, you know, it's just very, we are telling the audience member, you know, you are wonderful. You have been loved since the moment that you were born. We're so glad that you're here is basically the subtext or the blatant text. And, you know, we've had people at the end of the show say things like, you know, that, you know, I was bawling my eyes out under my headset because my father never told me that, and something, their words, not mine. Some people have said things as dramatic as something clicked inside me and I'm forever changed by that. And to hear that as an artist is astounding and wonderful. Well, you know, the difference between VR and watching a movie is that in a movie, they're not staring you right in the face. You know, like in VR, like in the avatars and in the character that you're in, like mom comes right up to you and she's like right here in your face, like holding your shoulders, being like, yes, you know, like we're so happy to have you here, blah, blah, blah. You know, Skiva, you were Alex. You had the pleasure of being me for a day.
I did. It was interesting being called Alex all day. No, but it was really an awesome experience. This was a lot different than Gumball, and you know, I don't know that I was expecting the vast, you know, the contrast of how different this experience was, but it was really, really good, man. It really puts you in a place where you feel like you're a little kid. You're standing there in this like toy area, and you're, you know, powerful in VR is one of the most powerful things is scale. Yeah. Right. So bringing you down to the size of like a 7 or 8 year old kid is powerful in and of itself. But then to like bring in the parents and like go through this entire story as a child was just wild, man. It like, and being in VR, it like really brings you back to those days, and you almost revert back to a childhood state in your mind. And it was very powerful and very, very well done. I would suggest that everyone try either of these experiences.
So really while powerful. You were being Alex, I was an invisible ghost, basically cruising around in the environment, just like looking at everything from every angle, you know, like I tried to stay close and not go out too far and explore too much, but I definitely like went around the house and peeked up there, you know, just like explored the space a little bit. Yeah. But you know, I watched you go through all of this. I watched you interact with Steve and Deirdre as characters, multiple different characters. They both play multiple characters in the show. And I feel like I was watching you like squirm a little bit. Dude. Yeah, for real. Like you were like, ooh, like squirming a little. Were you not?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because it really, you know, it brings you back to a time when you're a child, and it kind of brings you back to a lot of the feelings that you felt when you were a little kid, and you start relating the story to your own childhood, right? So in that way, it is very therapeutic. You know what I mean? It was a heck of an experience. I got to tell you, I think, definitely, this is definitely something people should try, unless they have like maybe a very traumatized childhood, which we're all traumatized to a degree, but how traumatized And
well, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
Like, are there people who you think maybe should avoid going into experience like this, or do you think this would help people who maybe do carry around this kind of trauma?
It's not our goal to damage anybody.
No. I mean, ultimately, the story has a hopeful message. Like, yes, we've all been down some dark paths, but we can heal from these spaces if we choose to, remember them, reflect upon them, and then, move past them. And it's crazy because, I mean, the story is kind of in some ways general in a way that allows us all to sort of like think back to our childhood, like who didn't go to the park, right? When didn't mom make you something that you really liked for dinner, and dad wanted to share some really cool toy they'd gotten for you, and you go off and hang out and play with it. Like, so there's some real general things that we kind of all experience, but our body remembers what it's like to be that size, and it's when you put yourself in an avatar and you're all of a sudden you're looking over countertops and the table's really big and you're looking up at your mom and dad, like all of those feelings from when you were that age start coming flooding back because your body remembers what that was like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we Lindsay Scoggin, the creative director of the original IRL piece, she and her team, they were interested. They became interested in dissociative identity disorder, DID, which is sort of the subject of Welcome to Respite. And they did a lot of research on it before they did the play. And so we didn't have to really worry about doing that kind of legwork because they did it already. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of conversation with the team about how we continue to honor, people that are dealing with these things. And we didn't want it to be like Carrie or some horror movie where we're using these mental issues as a way to just denigrate people or anything. We want to create empathy with the work that we do, and that was a concern for us with Welcome to Respite, sort of across the board. And we're not licensed in anything, we're just stories here. And
we did get licensed. We do have licensed people who have seen the show and have given us feedback. Yeah.
There are doctors and stuff that have come through the show, and we've gotten no pushback on it. We try to be real delicate with it because we want to help, not harm, with work. So
and ultimately, like art doesn't really ask for permission, does it? You make art and you do it to elicit emotion. You do it to help people understand a certain feeling or understand empathy in a lot of ways, and like I know someone whose son left this earth on their own accord, and they have never healed from that situation. And we were had like a family get together one time, and we just like threw some random movie on, and there's like a scene in this movie when like someone leaves this earth on their own accord, and this person who I knew could not handle it. Like got up, burst into tears, left the room, like bye, see ya. And like that's real stuff that happens, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's like the movie didn't ask for permission to do that, they just did it. So that's really interesting to me, and I guess that's really the point of art, is like to make you feel something, like that's what music is for me. That's what any show that I'm watching, like if you're making me feel something, you're in my opinion accomplishing your goal and giving me what I came for. Even if I didn't necessarily come for a specific feeling, it's actually rare that I watch something to be like, yes, this is the feeling. Well, actually maybe that's not true. It's like sometimes you want to put on something light and fun or whatever. But a lot of times, like it's just a matter of accomplishing the goal of like really tapping into that emotional state and like transferring some of that energy over, and it doesn't even have to be like emotional. There's a movie called Funny Games that is like a psychological like thriller horror kind of situation, and it just like makes me so uncomfortable, but I love it for that reason.
Yeah, there was somebody, we were doing some test shows for Gumball Dreams, and somebody came through that we know. This is all people we know came through the thing. And at the end, we were talking about it, and this woman said, you kind of made me think about stuff I'm not sure I was ready to think about. It was cool and stuff, but I was like, oh God, sorry we made you think and feel. Sorry for that. But we just don't anymore. As we grow up, we learn to build the walls. It's the defense mechanisms, and that's what we do as artists. And part of the role of art is to show that mirror back to the audience, say, this is you, think and feel.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I do feel like, and I'm sorry for like putting you right in the crosshairs, because you were the one that did the experience. I feel like Skiva used humor as a defense mechanism. Like he was like cracking jokes a little bit, like kind of trying to have fun with a few of the interactions when like we all know that there's kind of a serious tone happening, you know? So like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that almost feels like that might have been a defense mechanism.
Sure. But I mean, I crack joke, that's just how I kind of normally am.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. But at the same time, sure. Not everything in my childhood was rosy. You know what I mean? So to take emotional responses and try to lighten them. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. I imagine you guys probably see a lot of that, huh? Like people like doing what they can to like make themselves more comfortable in those scenes where like things get a little heavy.
We get everything. We get everything, the full spectrum, and that's how we create these projects. Really, is because Deirdre and I, we come from an immersive theater background as well. We did a fair amount of it. Deirdre especially doing a lot of immersive performing. And you never quite know what you're going to get. So what we do is these are semi-scripted narrative stories that are written. So, but we do leave in a fair amount of room for the audience to go off the canvas. And sort of move the narrative and take it places that we wouldn't normally know. I think Jason Moore spoke about this a little bit with Alien Rescue. They're doing much the same kind of work. So it's really exciting when we get an audience member that allows themselves to be vulnerable and really come to play. Because we've had people take us places that we didn't even expect, and it's really wonderful to be able to go there with them. And then we know when to bring it back and then move the story on. But yeah, we can do the show based on whatever we get. There's some people that are like, and this is specifically with Welcome to Respite, since it's the one hero character that does the speaking and interacting for the most part. But some people are just really kind of reserved and uncomfortable with that sort of vulnerability, and that's okay too. Yeah. I mean, we can still do the show, and then there's people that just go freaking nuts, man. And sometimes it kind of breaks it, and the show isn't as powerful as it can be. But I mean, hey, there's no tightrope.
Yeah, when you got an Alex who's like grabbing the pot for cooking and running around, and you're like, what are you gonna do? We might stop. We can the pot. Spill the water, even though the water is never going to spill.
It's been interesting learning who our audiences are too, and who comes to see this stuff. And when we just blindly put the headset on people, that's when it becomes a little bit more dangerous for everybody, and we all don't know what we're going to get. I remember early on in Welcome to Respite, there was a very, very high-end person in the entertainment industry coming through the show, and it was the baseline for the most difficult audiences. It was like, she came through and was like, it was crazy. And at the end of that, we got through it. But it was like, okay, that's the baseline. If we can get through that show, we can get through anything with that person.
Christopher, did you have something to add to this?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pivot because I'm worried that anybody listening to this and only knowing this interview thinks that our show is like a lot heavier than it is. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Like Alex, you're laughing, you're dancing with mom and dad. We made sure to not end Respite on a heavy note. That's one reason that I took the direction of that Disneyland-like ride of a credits at the end, just to sort of shake off all those, and then just go back out of it with a sort of neutral fun. And then in Gumball Dreams is even more fun. And I love seeing people. One of my favorite moments from Gumball Dreams in a rehearsal when I was ghosting and just watching and observing. It was these two people are running towards one of the obelisks, the puzzles, and one of them says, so what did you and the Queen talk about? Which is funny because we never refer to Onyx as the Queen, but a lot of people assume it. And so what did you and the Queen talk about? They said, oh, love and mac and cheese. Oh, that's all you need in life, really. And that's like I made a poster of those 4 lines just because I loved it so much.
Love and mac and cheese, those things are just synonymous.
Heck yeah.
Really.
And you're totally right. We sometimes some of the uncomfortable points of things, people tend to harp on them and focus on them a little bit. And I guess we kind of did that, right? But it is important to note that a lot of this is just a good time.
Yes.
Right? It's super fun. It's beautiful. It's entertaining. So yeah, definitely don't go in thinking it's doom and gloom, because it's not.
That's true.
It's a beautiful experience.
That's
both
true.
Of these.
That is true. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good thing to mention about all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
So, and like I've mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things for me is the fact that these experiences are accessible via Quest. Like we've talked so much about the meta movie, but that's PC VR only, which of course cuts out the majority of the people who have access to VR.
Yes.
So this is a really high quality immersive theater experience that you can do with just a Quest, which is amazing. And
That's
I am
huge.
wondering, like,
or just a flat screen PC.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. I mean, of course, VR, we all know. We all know VR, what it does, in terms of like immersion. But yeah, you're right. There, you could also do it on a flat screen version. So that's good to call out and point out. But I'm curious, like, I assume this was built from the ground up for Quest and on PC. Was it hard to work within the limitations of the Quest, or did it kind of just flow and work the way that you kind of wanted it to?
Well, Christopher will talk endlessly about this stuff because he.
Well, it wasn't hard for me because I just learned how to do this as we were doing it. So I didn't know any limitations because Unity is my first program ever. My only limitation was knowledge, and let me start over. The biggest actual real limitation of the Quest in VRChat specifically, which is where we do our shows, is just the megabyte limits. And it used to be just 50 megabytes per world. So the first iterations of Gumball Dreams, Welcome to Rest, it was only 50 megabytes. And then one day they opened that up to 100, which is just crazy. For instance, because it doesn't sound like a lot, especially in this day and age. Like 100 megabytes is nothing, but you'd actually be amazed what you can fit into that still. Because like Gumball Dreams, which you've seen, that's only like 87 megabytes. We didn't even use all. It's
wow.
You can do a lot.
That blows my mind because like we just like record a video and that's like 1.5 gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Dang. And it's such a detailed, bright, vivid, like absolutely stunning world. That's nuts.
We were lucky enough Christopher invited us to join him on a tour for Gumball Lounge 3.0, the new rollout. And
well, tell him what that is.
So Christopher, you jump in anytime, but he created he built the world Gumball Club Ball, which is only accessible through PC VR. He built a very similar but yet different world called Gumball Lounge that is Quest accessible. And then when Deirdre wrote the script, and then Christopher and her worked on the script, they adapted the script to the world, and they took both of those worlds.
Christopher took both those words.
Yeah, Christopher took both of those worlds and created Gumball Dreams.
Yeah.
And that's like, 100 megabytes ish. We went in 2 hours the other night and got this 2-hour tour from him with the Gumball Lounge 3.0.
It's a new version. I've been working on it for a year. It's like a year's worth of updates that instead of updating it incrementally like a lot of VRChat worlds did, I just decided to kind of hold back and just like boom, like it's not quite a sequel because it's still the same game, but it's like there's just double the gameplay, double the music, double the animations, double the pleasure, double the fun.
one of the really amazing things about it that I just can't get out of my mind is there's no pixelation, no freezing up, nothing. It's like glass the whole way through when you experience it.
20 frames per second glass. No, it's usually about 35, but it gets to 20. But you don't care. You don't notice.
Usually during the animations. I do want to qualify it's Quest 2 friendly.
Yeah.
Quest 1s have kind of gotten a little bit.
They're a paperweight now.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, there really isn't anything that runs on the Quest 1 these days.
Yeah, they've really been kind of removing it from the equation, which is fine. You know, I mean, I think that's acceptable. Whenever you have new hardware come out, eventually the old hardware goes away. We're not still supporting the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 3 that is in the past. So
just playing. I was just about to say, you know, technology doesn't hold up like it used to, because I was playing PlayStation 2 minutes before this call. Nice. And you know, I don't think I'll ever touch my Quest 1 again. You know what I mean? It's not the same.
That is interesting. And also, you know, there's some people out there, my brother being one of them, who owns a Quest 1, who doesn't own a Quest 2, who paid for Population 1, and then Population 1 revoked access for the Quest 1.
Well, that's different. If you have a game that's on there already and you revoked the access to it, that's a little messed up. I don't think that's the same as just not making games for the old hardware anymore.
I agree, but both happened. Like people also were like, okay, this thing doesn't work for Quest 1 anymore. We want to add this and that, and we can't keep that Quest 1 crowd in anymore. So
well, dang, I think if enough people stood up and said and yelled and complained and
probably could have got some refunds.
Yeah, well, for sure, because I think you would have to, because if someone comes and says, oh, the car you bought, we're changing it, you can't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, no, then give me my money back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's But anyway, this is VRChat. They seem to. So does VRChat work at all on Quest 1?
I think so.
Still?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, it's just a little hard to get into worlds and such.
In our onboarding and stuff, when we email people, I have to tell them that if you have a Quest 1, you have to be tethered. That's the only way that it will work to get into our worlds.
Use it as a PC VR
Do you have a lot of people that do come in flat on a computer monitor as well?
We occasionally discourage it. Yeah, we try to discourage it because you can't do stuff.
Yeah, they'll get in there and they'll have a hard time clicking on things or doing things, and it's not the same. What we have done is we'll put one of the team members in the show, and they'll be invisible, and they'll stream the show. Usually Braden's doing it. He'll stream the show to like a YouTube, and then people can see it that way. And then that way, it's the view is always sort of where you should be ideally for thing. Mm-hmm.
It's not built for that though. It's built to experience that 360 degree field of view and sixed off, all that stuff.
Yeah, just like being able to turn your head around and wonder and look at everything.
Yeah. And then with you guys were talking about a little earlier, we were able to. There's kind of what we discovered is the Proteus effect is kind of important to understand about the work that we're doing. But then also we get to mess around with the scope and scale of the worlds. Like with Welcome to Respite, we scale the world to fit the size of a 7-year-old child. So it's not just inhabiting this 7-year-old avatar, but you were talking a little bit about it afterwards, Skeeve, about how it's like, whoa, the table's high, mom's right there. That all helps.
We also run the shows ourselves. Like all the actors are doing all of the triggers and running the animations, or triggering the animations to start, and so that way we don't have another person running behind the scenes, trying to deal with the whole like a ratio of actor to audience member, because right now it's still, instances still need to be small, or immersive theater always battles that anyway, the amount of people that you can get in, but the wanting to keep it intimate and, accessible and attainable and interacting with the audience. And so, when you start scaling up to like almonds in size, or, with all these, bunches of people sitting in these nosebleed seats, like that's not immersive theater. And that's what we're doing right now. And it's a good time to do it because, things are hard to scale in VR currently. So it's a good time to explore that.
Nice. So I have two very important questions for Christopher. Or Color, right? Is that how you go? Color?
Either Christopher, Color.
I like Color. That's nice. Mm-hmm. So first one is, what were you playing on the PlayStation 2?
Katamari, the one where you're like rolling out the ball of all the objects and it gets bigger and bigger.
Is there a version of that game on PlayStation 2 that you just find to be superior, or
no? It was just kind of random. Like I have had a deadline approaching for every day for the last year, and today was literally like a holiday for me for the first time to just not do anything. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play old school video games. So I just kind of dusted it off. I don't play it very often.
I love it. I have a PlayStation 2 and I don't have enough games for it, which is the main reason why I asked. I want to have the cream of the crop for the PS2, so that way I can play those games, and I think I might add Katamari to the list.
Super cool.
The real important question here, and Tiga Lover has asked it a couple of times in the chat now, but what would be your favorite storyline out of the ones that are available?
I just in that moment you asked, hit enter. I wanted to answer them, but I didn't have. I was like, I can't have two conversations at once. So I'm glad you asked, because now I can do this proper.
Yes.
Well, I noticed earlier up in the chat they asked Braden, what if you had to choose what story, and Braden's like, it's like, if I had to choose, of course, Respite, because I'm biased. I wrote half of it, and I basically just said the exact same thing, but the opposite is Gumball Dreams, because I wrote half of it.
Nice.
It's, that's kind of more my baby than Respite for sure.
But in terms of just the experience and the quality of the experiences, these are pretty close, I would say, right? Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I feel like they're both, very high-end VR immersive theater experiences with different sort of storylines, but still in that foundation of the heart. I think that's the important part. I mean, Gumball Dreams is about an alien that's transitioning from this life to the next. I mean, it's a pretty heavy subject.
Dark matter. And morose, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the overwhelming feeling is of hope and awe and gratitude. And for Welcome to Respite, it's the feeling the love of the parents and the childhood wonder. So those are the overwhelming feelings from each of the shows. They're just different, right?
Yeah.
Even serious subject matters.
They're very different and both beautiful in their own ways. I think I will remember both, but I think if I had to choose, I might choose Gumball for its visuals and its overall message of love and unity. I just thought it really it really just touched me. I thought it was just incredible. They're both great.
I think that visually I liked Welcome to Respite a little bit better. I love scale. Anybody who knows me knows I love scale in VR, and they do really, there's scale also in Gumball, which is really cool. But I think visually, just some of the effects and some of the stuff in Welcome to Respite, I probably prefer to Gumball. But the quests that you do in Gumball, right? There's this level of interactiveness with the team that all comes in together that is really good for me. So I would probably say Gumball would be the one that I would recommend between.
I did really like that. It's good that you brought that up, because with Gumball, you do go out and you do things as a group and you try to complete these tasks together, which kind of gamify the whole thing a little bit too, which isn't really common with immersive theater, I guess, right? Because a lot of times you're just going through a story and you're not really playing any kind of game where you have to accomplish a task to get through it. So I did really like that too, being a gamer.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We also start the show, all together in a theater lobby that doesn't look like a theater lobby. We also gather together at the end together in a theater lobby. So it does still retain the feeling of, a social experience of going to the theater. You're just not getting in your car to go to the theater and driving. Somebody asked, this will be a good one for Color. Somebody asked about the name Gumball Dreams.
Yeah, I saw. I was poised. So I had my first world was Club Gumball, then the second one was Gumball Dreams, and there had already just been sort of this franchise IP pattern had been established And so, when Deirdre titled it Gumball Dreams, and when she sent it to me, she said it was like she says a working title. But, I thought about it, because, I don't take titles lightly. And I thought. I was like, I don't think there's anything better. I think that is what it's called. So it just kind of stuck.
Why is there a gumball in your world?
Oh, that. So the genesis of the world was that I had never made a VRChat world before, and I wanted to because I was pretty new to VR, and I had the idea that if I downloaded a model of an object from online and I made that model very big, then we could go inside of it and like a bucket or a birdhouse or something. And I was like, and that half the work is already done, right? And then just practice. So I was just scrolling through hundreds and thousands of objects online until the gumball machine caught my eye, and I was just like instantly just imagine little people up inside the dome, and it was like a done deal. And then that's just rest is history kind of thing. But nice. I like telling that story because I planned on spending about a week on that first practice project, and it is not stopped for 1 minute 2.5 years later.
Wow. So you did a majority of the visual work on this. Is that correct on Gumball?
100%.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I got to tell you that this very much reminded me of psilocybin and dimethyltryptamine experiences that I've had, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Right? I couldn't imagine the whole time that the person that created this hadn't had similar experiences. Did you get any influence from any kind of
journey?
Well, I mean, I personally don't really. No. So there are two questions that I get asked most frequently, by far, and that is, how did you possibly make this work on Quest, and how many drugs were you on? And the answer is 0 drugs while I was making it, other than weed. But before. A lot.
Nice. I mean, I've mentioned on our show multiple times that I'm absolutely the product of hallucinogenic experiences, and I don't recommend everyone just goes out and just jumps in with both feet, but I do recommend that if you're ever in a comfortable place and like a really good friend of yours offers it to you, you can probably say yes. Because I am so grateful for the perspective that I've gained by going down the rabbit hole, as I like to refer to it. And, I think it has helped me tremendously in my life to let go of extra weight emotionally or mentally that I don't need, not physically, unfortunately, yet, but, help me manifest the reality that works for me. I really am I'm right there with you, dude. I'm a total product of all that stuff.
Well, also, and Christopher can tell you all about this, but everything in Gumball Dreams and Gumball Worlds is like, it's all symbology. And if you remember back when you guys came through Gumball Dreams, when we get to the journey part where all the stuff is coming at you.
Oh yeah.
Looks like there's some stuff from the periodic table of elements. That's all accurate.
Yeah. Well, that
was happenstance. That's specific. Right. Yeah,
I mean, I love the topic of drugs. I think the fact that we can put something in our mouth and then within the next hour literally perceive life in a completely different way, and then the fact that you can take that knowledge and hold it with you for the rest of your life, it's amazing. But I'm not recommending anyone do drugs, and I don't do that. In fact, if drugs are for you, they will call you. I don't need to be like, so have you heard the. You know what I mean? It's just, but I have been told the deep honor from certain people that a lot of people say, I feel like I don't need to do drugs because I've been through Gumball Lounge or something. And that to me is an honor because, drugs are like shoes. Everybody needs them, but they don't all fit. And so it's an awesome honor to be able to share with the world what I think was wonderful that came from drugs. And but in a different format.
Yeah, which, like, I appreciate you speaking so like authentically and frankly bluntly about this. I do think it's important to just mention the fact that when we're saying drugs here, correct me if I'm wrong, we're really talking about hallucinogenics, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never in my life, coke, heroin, meth, and I'm not like judging those who do, but yeah, I mean like psilocybin mushrooms and DMT, stuff like that.
LSD.
Hey man, if it grows out of a turd, what can go wrong?
Yeah. So listen, I think everybody who's been listening now has a pretty good idea as to the thought processes and the emotional thought and effort and, the intimate nature of these kinds of experiences that you guys have put together. You might have a way to make it slightly easier for people to come with a camera that works, right? We need a camera that works for this section for them. It's frozen currently.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. Right.
You might have something that might make it a little easier for those who are in the Between Realities family to come and participate. Am I right on that?
We have a coupon code for your lovely audience, if you can see it. I don't know, but basically, Between Realities, all one word, all lowercase, and you can get tickets at ferrymancollective.com.
We've just we finished up with Rain Dance Film Festival, our official run of festival shows with Gumball Dreams. So now we release it out into the world, the public world, and coinciding with Gumball Lounge 3.0, we are going to be doing some shows.
Yeah, in February.
2023 February.
Yeah.
So if this sounds like your thing, sign up now using code Between Realities, get a discount on your tickets, and prepare for a February or March showing, or February?
All shows are in February.
Okay, cool. So it's going down in February. So obviously, these are limited. There's not an infinite number of them. They're happening in February. So if you're down, use the code Between Realities, ferrymancollective.com, and sign up to take one of these shows. I think you'll all have an amazing time. If it doesn't sound like something, if it sounds like something you can do and you can handle and you're interested in this, by all means, please go and do it, because this is like a glimpse into the future of what experiences like entertainment experiences are really going to be like as we kind of barrel forward into the future of technology and
for sure
storytelling.
And this is also a great thing to go and do with like a significant other or a group of friends, right? Like, a lot of people will go out and go to the theater or go see a play or go see a movie. But imagine if you could go be in the theater, be in the movie, be in the play with no rehearsal needed. You just go jump in and have a blast.
Yep.
So this is super interactive. It's super fun. And you should absolutely give this a shot.
Yeah. What's really, there must be something important about Ferryman Collective, about Gumball Dreams, about Welcome to Respite that we haven't had a chance to get to yet. Like, take a second if you need it, but what's one more important thing about what y'all are doing that we need to make sure that we get to before we start to wrap this up?
You guys think about, just going to ask for people out there that Gumball Dreams is a 3-person show, and each person interacts with the actors. So it's a very interactive show. And for those who are a little shyer, then Welcome to Respite is probably a better show for you, because if you don't choose the Alex ticket, the hero ticket, then you are an invisible alter and you don't interact with the actors at all. So that one, it can be is a bigger audience, and we can accommodate more people on that show.
I'm glad you mentioned it like that, because I was a passive observer of Skiva's immersive experience, and that was an awesome experience for me, just being like a fly on the wall. Like it is still a way more profound way of interacting with the story as an invisible ghost basically in the room than just like watching a flat screen.
And there were things you were able to do as well. There are times where you interact with the story and you make things happen. And like, I remember seeing things happen and going, that looks like there's a ghost making some things happen over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do feel like I got excited in a scene thinking that I was going to be doing something that was going to be needed, and then it wasn't needed. And I'm like, wait a second. You guys know what I'm talking about? With Ellie?
When we actually made the vote thing happen?
Oh, no, the votes are cool. I like the votes. That's a cool thing that we'll let people discover for themselves. But
yeah,
there's a scene. There's a scene in the bedroom when Alex goes to bed, and I realized that I was able to interact with Ellie in that room, and I just like picked it up and like went over and like put it on his bed. I'm like, here you go. You know?
Oh yeah, you do interact in that scene, but Ellie's not going to help you.
Yeah. But you saw me drop Ellie on the bed, right?
Yeah, I think I did. And then there were you guys were throwing things. That's something that came out too. There was a couple times where I was like, whoa, my homies are helping me.
Yeah.
that was what going back to the how big these worlds are. The 50 megabyte thing when Welcome to Respite was had its premiere at Tribeca. Through that whole thing, it was 50 megabytes. So So the alters, Alex, in your case, the invisible ones, it was more of a roaming around thing, and there were some things to do. But right after the festival year with Welcome to Respite, then VRChat allowed us to build to 100 megabytes, which is twice what it was. So we went back, and that's when we put the voting system in and stuff like that.
And the yard.
And all that.
So the parents' room and the bathroom at that point, because before it was just kind of...
So it was our goal to try to give you guys more things to do as an alter, so it wasn't just specifically a passive observational thing. But
yeah, that was cool. It's definitely worth going in as a passive observer, especially if like being the main character like gives you anxiety. It's a really good way to go and experience one of these immersive theater experiences without the pressure of kind of being on and like interacting with the characters as they try to pull information out of you and stuff.
And that being said too, I think the way that Respite worked is you could do as much or as little as you want, and the actors are going to continue to drive the story forward, and you won't really miss anything. You know what I mean? You go, you do your thing. You can say, you can be the part if you want, or you can just kind of like nod and do as you're told. And either way, you're going to have, I think, a phenomenal experience. Yeah.
Well, thank you. We it's our goal. You asked Alex if there was anything else that Ferryman Collective about Ferryman Collective that you didn't know about, and we all of us, along with Jason Moore and so many other people, we're not the first to do this for sure, but we're a small community of people that are doing this live immersive kind of scripted thing, and we're so grateful to be here. And we're learning. I mean, there's a paradigm shift happening right now in how we consume entertainment and how we tell stories, and this is part of it. And we didn't plan on being here. We found ourselves here, and so we're learning. We're learning what it all means, and we're sort of establishing the boundaries and the rules and all that. And we're just really grateful to be doing it and to meet folks like yourselves. And to cross-pollinate and try to grow it, our XR community and storytelling community, so that it can be a place of hope and sharing and creativity, because through art we heal.
I love that. That's awesome. And what I was really hearing when you were saying like, we didn't expect to be here, but we're learning, is that everyone who is interested needs to go and try this, and then share your feedback of the experience with this team, because that information is so valuable to those who are learning, who are building as they go. Like feedback is huge, positive feedback, neutral feedback, and even negative feedback. Like I'm giving everyone permission to give you guys feedback on their experiences so you can help learn from that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if there's anything else, please let us know, things that we can do better, things that we can include, things that we shouldn't do, let us know.
Yeah. Well, and when we very first met you and we found out that you were doing these shows in VRChat, we basically said like, bury VRChat and go do it in Neos. And now that I've seen them, and now that I realize that that is accessible for 90% of the VR community, I would no longer give you that advice. I think Neos is probably the most powerful platform for this kind of thing. But the fact that you're making this available for so many people by using VRChat and still doing a great job of it, there was really nothing to like be desired for me. So I think you guys are on the right path, and you know, I will retract whatever feedback I was giving you when we very first met when it comes to that.
Yeah, we love Neos. Yeah, I mean our goal was just to make make it accessible to as many people as we could, and that was putting Quest availability first in
really
the choice platform. But I love Neos.
And the whole thing with that, and I know you guys spoke with Jason more at length about different platforms and stuff like that, and about how he came to work on Neos, and VRChat works for us because we have legs. We get to have legs. And
there's some people doing stuff in alt space.
It allows us the versatility to build, right color. I mean, it gives you a lot of versatility to create this stuff. It's what works for us. All of these platforms are really good for what they do, and somebody who's doing something else, a different type of show, might find Altspace or Neos more beneficial to them. But yeah, I mean, when I got to do the hero in Alien Rescue, and it was
nice.
Friggin'.
It is friggin' awesome.
It's good to see the cross-pollination there. That's awesome.
Neos is really, really cool. And we've been talking, Deirdre and I have been planting some seeds with some other heavy hitters in the XR community that build in VRChat, but they only do VR or PC VR experiences. So we're thinking, well, I don't know, so can we produce something that's only PC VR, and how do we feel about that? And I mean, as long as we're creating and telling stories, I don't care where it's at.
Nice.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard to take a small bucket of possible consumers, right, and an audience to see your art, and then whittle it down to this teeny tiny little part of that bucket.
Yep.
And only those few people then can, have that accessible. So I totally respect that, and I think Quest, if you want to share your art with as many people as possible, I think that's the way to go.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that Christopher Color can give us kind of some of his last thoughts and closing remarks when it comes to this conversation we've been having.
When you said that a few minutes ago, I thought long and hard. I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I don't know if I have anything. It's just been a really wonderful conversation. I like, I guess just to end on a cheesy high note, like a lot of people in the comments were saying that they would love to do something like this, like dream job, and it's like, by all means, do it. That's one of the most fun things about the community being so small right now is it's, how do we word this? It's not hard to be seen for what you're doing right now. It's still a pretty small community. So if you get your name, it's not that hard to get your name out there or to let people know that this is what you're doing, because we're like, in one group message, half the industry is aware of what you're doing.
Right.
So it's,
and that's one of our goals, is to get as many people as we can creating in this space, because we need people.
Yeah.
It takes you around the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to Taiwan next month because of that silly little gumball machine. Who knew? So
that's so awesome.
Yeah. We didn't even mention that. This is going to other countries, right?
Korea, the Gioi, Giioi, the VR story telling company, Gioi from Korea, they reached out to us, and they loved the show, and they expressed dismay that it couldn't be shared with a wider Korean audience because of the language barrier and whatnot. So we ended up licensing the show to them, and Christopher did a lot of work to help them turn it into a complete Korean language experience.
And then with Gumball Dreams, Color, go ahead and tell them.
Oh, well, which aspect?
Well, the fact that it's going to... Yeah.
So we were in Kaohsiung Film Festival, last month, and we ended up winning the grand prize for that, which was so lovely. And I got to be there in person to accept the award on behalf of the team, and it was just truly one of the most wonderful months of my life. I love that place, and the whole time I was there, I was like, I'm moving here, and I know that's cliche for a traveler to say that, but no, I'm really doing it in 3 weeks.
He is.
Whoa! Wow. Congrats! That's so good.
So, but one of the reasons for that is among other things, is because we won that festival. It gives them the rights to show our piece for the next year. That's kind of like one of their deals. And usually that just means putting a headset on somebody and showing them a pre-recorded video. But because ours is audience, they approached me that night after we were schmoozing at the after party. They're like, we basically have no choice but to convert your show to Mandarin now. And I was like, let's freaking do it.
Let's go. Run it.
So you guys were in the credits world, and you saw when we activated the Korean credits world, we're going to have another offshoot, and it's going to be the Mandarin world. And then
nice.
Amazing.
Looking for the Nigerian version, and then the Lithuanian version, all of it.
Icelandic.
Icelandic, yes, exactly.
Wow,
very cool.
It's super awesome. It's like I said earlier, it's definitely, whenever I do these, it's like looking into the future for me. It's like giving me a glimpse of like what the future of these kinds of experiences are going to be like. And, honestly, it is inspiring, like I am like sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I could probably be one of these characters. Like I could be an actor in one of these things and like hold character, and like I think I could roll with the punches enough to pull this off, and like I don't know if I have time to do that, but like it is inspiring, like those thoughts do cross my mind when I'm in there and I'm experiencing that, so we are very grateful for the opportunity to go in and experience these stories, and we thank you for all of the blood, sweat, and tears that you're putting into this, because anybody who's in the VR space knows that if you're like trying to become a millionaire tomorrow, probably not exactly the easiest place to do it, So we really do appreciate you guys kind of like putting your best foot forward and doing everything you can to transport people and to help people experience something profound through your art. So thank you.
Well, it's great. It's great to know you both, and thank you for taking the time to see what we're up to, and having us on your show. It's a really amazing show you guys are doing, and important for our community. So please keep it up. Thank you.
We will.
Thanks.
We're gonna keep doing it. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and we'll check in before long, and we'll both be in better and brighter places, and just moving up and just making stuff happen. I love it. It's a very exciting time to be involved in all of this stuff.
Here's to 2023, everybody.
2023.
Yeah. Cheers to 2023. Steve, Deirdre, Christopher, Color, thank you guys, the Ferryman Collective. We really appreciate you for joining us today and for all of your hard work. Stay in touch, and we'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Salute.
Talk to you later.
Say goodbye to Ferryman Collective, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ferryman Collective.
Thanks for being on the streaming.
They're gone. Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. Oh, man. What a great show. And I screwed up the sunscreen too. Wow, I'm just the worst. Here. I'm just gonna do that.
No, you're the best, bro.
Dude, I'm a little sad about the video issues we've had, but I feel like it was still a phenomenal show, and
of course.
I am glad that we got these guys on to be able to tell everybody about the projects that they're putting on for everybody, and to hopefully persuade some people to go out there and to do something new and exciting, because VR isn't just about killing zombies, right? You can do all kinds of amazing things in VR. So
and, this is just a passionate group of people, dude. Like you can't do this without being passionate, you know? And like he was saying, it's like, we're not making a ton of money doing this, It's like, it's hard to make a lot of money in the VR space right now, but everyone's still expecting to have these like truly profound, amazing experiences and like AAA kind of things. You know what I mean? So it is really appreciated by us, and hopefully by all of you who are sitting here listening to us and watching us on YouTube or Anchor or Spotify or iTunes or Upload VR.
All of those things.
And
everywhere, and
you
all
understand too that it just takes passion and true blood, sweat, and tears to pull this stuff off. So my hat goes off to anybody who's in the space. Like, it's hard for me to just like shit on some garbage game, because deep down I know that someone loved VR so much that they went and grinded on something for as best of their ability to try to contribute, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and it's art. And it's all art.
And it is art.
Yep.
Games are art. Immersive theater is art.
Yep.
You know, experiences in VR is art. Movies and photos, all this stuff is art. It's amazing. So,
true that.
Really awesome to be here. Hey, shout out Mickey Burr. Right.
Dude.
Mickey Burr just slid into the chat
homie.
right now.
Oh, Mickey Burr. We love you, dude. Thank you so much for helping get me a new headset. And everything you do for the community. You're always out there in all of everyone's chats supporting everybody, and we see you and thank you.
Dude,
appreciate you.
I was worried for Skiva when I realized what happened. I was like, no. And I one of the first things I said, I'm like, okay, are you okay? I know this is not something that you take lightly. So the fact that you have helped get this guy back into an index so soon after the coffee incident, which will be the name, the name of our death metal band when we start.
Coffee incident. I love it.
But seriously, you're the man. Thank you.
For real.
And also, thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to our super generous super chats today. $50 from Bobby Carlton, $105 from ResLVR, Bluebell also with the donation. You guys are so amazing. We really appreciate your support. We're not doing this for the money either, but it's not exactly free for us to do this. So any and all money that we get through our Patreons, through our memberships, or through the live chat donations, it means the world to us. So we really do appreciate you guys, and it's never expected, but always so appreciated. So I hope you all know that.
We absolutely love you guys.
And now it's Christmas.
It is. It's Christmas. And next week, right after Christmas, we're going to be back with a whole squad of people. We got everyone's piling into 1 or 2 camera feeds, and we're going to have Grumpy Duck, Mrs. Grumpy Duck, Frags, and your pal all coming on to one what a chaotic show is going to be.
And I actually didn't even know this was happening. I look at the calendar a few days ago. I'm like, what the?
This is good. 4? All of these guys are so funny, right? And girls. All of these guys and girls are so funny. And to have them all in one show is going to be hilarious and fantastic and entertaining. But they're working on a project that they want us all to know about. And so we're going to bring them on so they can.
There's no way that one's going to make it to upload, is there? With Grumpy Duck on the
God,
show?
I don't know if we can keep those guys at bay with their language.
Maybe we should just take the gloves off when they come on and just say screw it and just.
Yeah, well, it's up to them, right? If they want the publicity of being on upload, they can see. We can see if we can.
I know. Grumpy Duck is.
He is. Whew, yeah.
He's a lot, and he's actually been on the show before. So if you're interested in getting an idea of what we're talking about, feel free to dive back into the Between Realities catalog and check out that episode. Also, another time to worth mentioning that you should definitely be liked and subscribed to this. So please subscribe, please join us on our journey of doing all this. And secondly, previous episodes of this show hold up, straight up. We don't really do a whole lot of news and current events. While we do talk about it from time to time, ultimately it's the people that have always been the focus of these conversations, and you can learn about all of these people that we've had on the show over the years, and it's still really works,
they're all contributing so much to virtual reality into this industry, and that's why we have them on. So go back and check them out.
Go back and check out those episodes, especially when we do our break of the season, which we haven't announced when that's going to happen yet, but eventually we're going to have a break, so you can get your Between Realities fixed by going and listening to previous episodes. Merry Christmas, Skiva.
Merry Christmas, dude.
You're the man. Thanks for such an awesome year. And I look forward to 2023.
Me too, brother. Me too. And to all of you, every single person out there, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching afterwards, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We'll be back before New Year, but happy everything. We love you guys.
Oh, we're gonna be back before the New Year. Oh, yeah, we got one more episode before the New Year.
Yep.
It'll be after Christmas, so we can talk about what Santa brought us.
Right on.
All right, let's do it. That's that. Have a good weekend, everyone, and we will see you next week with that whole crew of crazy peeps, and it's gonna be awesome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.